Tulsi Mehar Shrestha. Tulsi Mehar Shrestha was born in humble middle-class Newar family on 30 December 1896 AD at Kuli Matol of Lalitpur district of Nepal. He was the only child of his family. Inspired by reading the book of Maharshi Dayanand, The Light of Truth, Tulsi Mehar brought himself changes in his own life. His self-realization about the truth and observation of self-discipline was the key message he was delivering to the mass of people. In those early days when country was in the grip of the autocrat Rana regime, people were not allowed to educate and express their views freely. Late Tulsi Mehar Shrestha dared to disseminate the messages to the society about the importance of self-awareness and urged to wake up against ignorance and evil of the society. He began appearing into the public and advocating on the wicked side of prevalent religion, especially against rigid caste system and oppression of people, especially women. His vision towards social reform and development was to emphasize on women's empowerment, and for which he was propagating about the need of education of women and income generation program to make women economically self-reliant. It looked simple but was very tough at that time when women were observing Parda veil system, and motivating and driving women to economic activities were heroic activities in those days. Because of Tulsi Mehar's such deeds, the then Prime Minister Chandra Samsher J.B. Rana charged him as an anti-national and awarded punishment of either life imprisonment or lifelong exile. Filled with far-sighted mind and vision, Tulsi Mehar decided to accept lifelong exile since he thought he could not do anything for the country if he would be rotted inside the wall of the jail, so he pleaded the Prime Minister to have him sent for exile. With little money granted by Sri Tin Chandra Samsher, Tulsi Mehar Shrestha set out for India. His search for truth, strong will and dedication to work for the society took him to the close contact with Mahatma Gandhi, the great soul of India. He stayed in Sabarmati Varda and Sewagram ashram and dedicated his whole heart to learn spinning and weaving technique. His time with Mahatma Gandhi gave him an opportunity to gain experience and insight to the liberation of suffered people, and his commitment and conviction to fight back with evil in his own country became more formed. After acquiring the expertise in the field of spinning, weaving, etc., he returned to Nepal in 1923 with an inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of Nepal to allow Tulsi Mehar come back to Nepal and let him work for the sake of Nepalese people. The Rana Prime Minister gave him consent, and Tulsi Mehar started a small project of spinning and weaving some 95 years ago. The first place from where Tulsi Mehar commenced his journey to render his service to society was from Sankhamul Ghat at the bank of Bagmati River of Lalitpur district. In those days, and yet the river is regarded as the sacred place. Tulsi Mehar sowed a seed of cottage industry in Nepal through a gift of a bundle of raw cotton handed over by Gandhi, which he used as a raw material for spinning program. He established an institution named Sri Teen Chandra Kamdenu Chakra Pracharak Mahaguti in 1927, which is one of the first social service organizations. Following this, he also founded another organization in commemoration of Mahatma Gandhi named Nepal Gandhi Smarak Nidhi. Through these two organizations, he started rendering service to the society. In 1973, those two organizations were amalgamated into one under the name of Nepal Chakra Prachara Gandhi Smarak Mahaguti. He was an orthodox follower of Mahatma Gandhi's principle of self-reliance and practice of self-employment. Prior to Tulsi Mehar's effort to initiate spinning and weaving project, people of Kathmandu Valley used to grow, spin and weave cotton in their own field. The establishment of Sri Chandra Kamdenu Chakra Pracharak Mahaguti was the first organized work. Tulsi Mehar was able to impress the Rana Prime Minister with his skill and expertise in this field. He had also gained sympathy from Mahatma Gandhi, which made the Rana Prime Minister to grant him Rs 750 to start the cottage textile industry Khadi project. A retail outlet was set up in the Mangal Bazaar from where collection of raw materials, production and distribution of goods were channelized. This small outlet was developed as Mahaguti Craft with the conscience in 1984, which at present serves over 1,000 producers throughout the country. It was Tulsi Mehar's long-cherished dream to establish an ideal residential type of training center in Manohara, Kathmandu for the care of the widowed and the abandoned women. The dream got fulfilled in 1977 when he was awarded Nehru Award for International Understanding and Recognition for his social service. He donated the whole amount of rupees 1,45,000 to establish a residential type of training and rehabilitation center for the betterment and upliftment of widowed and destitute women. This center provides training to the destitute women in weaving, sewing, knitting, etc., and imparts education to their children as well. Tulsi Mehar died on 27 September 1978, soon after he received Nehru Award. With the collection of handful of grains from an individual, Tulsi Mehar was able to inculcate in people's mind the habit of donating on regular basis at that time. The campaign called Mushti Daan, keeping aside a handful of grains from everyday's meal and donating on regular basis, was commenced by Tulsi Mehar in an organized way, which is in long run turned into Nepal Chakra Prachara Gandhi Smarak Mahaguthi as one of the leading non-governmental organizations possessing huge fixed property. Many of present Nepalese organizations have followed the same principles of reducing dependency on foreign donation and marched towards the self-reliant. Tulsi Mehar's ideology was also inclined to the development of people within organization. He was putting much emphasis on training, particularly in vocational skill.